All right. How many of you like to drink alcohol? Raise your hands. Well, how many of you really like to drink alcohol? As my grandfather was fond of saying, it's never too early for a drink. And he was old school, coming up through the ranks of a private all the way to a general. And that's how he felt. So I thought today was a great day for Passionate World Talk Radio Network, a wholly owned subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC, to do a program on holiday sobriety. If you're a casual drinker with wine every now and then with chocolate to stimulate you, that's fine. I'm about the people who are addictive and must have alcohol just to get up in the morning, continue drinking it throughout the day, and putting themselves to bed with it. The ones who carry those flags and surreptitiously take them out when they think no one is looking, tip it, take their drink, screw the cover back on, and hide it in their inner coat pocket. We all know people like that. My mom was a social alcoholic, and until she finally confronted herself and admitted that she had to have a drink, she couldn't start getting better. The article was written by Buddy T, October 26, 2025. And if you go over to verywellmind.com, you can read the whole enchilada. And he provides you with 13 tips for maintaining your hard-won sobriety. I'm not going to give you every single one, but if you go over to passionateworldtalkradio.com/blog, you can read and listen to the audio. Or if you like to be entertained, you can go see the video on youtube.com/PWR network _PW Talk Radio. So, what are some of the key takeaways? Number one, it's important to recognize what triggers your addiction for always having to have alcohol, like stress or certain people. You know who I mean, and avoid them so you can stay sober. Building healthy relationships and having supportive friends or family can help prevent you from having a relapse. It's not easy. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D. Sometimes it's ta, 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 ta. And sometimes you tumble back down the mountain. Lasting recovery requires lasting effort. But if you do relapse, it's not a failure or a weakness on your part. It takes more than willpower and discipline, inner discipline, to maintain your sobriety. We will discuss the meaning of sobriety and we'll give you information and strategies, tips to smooth and stay on your path, follow the yellow crowd, to wellness. So, how common are relapses? Well, you're not the only one. Total abstinence is the goal. But the reality is there are setbacks. Research has shown that relapse rates from those recovering from alcohol abuse disorder runs up to 62% in the first year and about 90% over your lifetime. So if you folks aim to live beyond 117, Houston, we have a problem. The more tools, the more tips you have for identifying your trigger, coping with your stress, and managing your new sober life, quote unquote, the easier it will be for you to prevent relapse. So here are some tips that experts often recommend. Number one, identify your personal triggers. What sets you off? A big part of avoiding a relapse is to understand those external triggers, like pressing buttons, people, places, things, situations that happen throughout your thoughts, or maybe your cravings that are associated with substance use, as well as your internal triggers, such as feelings, thoughts, and your emotions. And once you identify your biggest risks, you can then create a plan to prepare for. They include one, stress; two, emotional stress. I am environmental cues. People who consume alcohol or drugs, relationship troubles, and job or financial. How do you recognize having a real? It can sneak up on you. You don't recognize the wines and get long before you actually pick up that drink or drug. It involves three phases: emotional relapse, mental relapse, and physical relapse. Warning signs of a relapse include returning to addictive thinking patterns, engaging in compulsive, self-defeating behaviors, seeking out situations involving people who use alcohol and drugs, thinking less rationally and behaving less responsibly, finding yourself in a situation in which drug or alcohol use seems like a logical escape from pain. So, how do you prepare for PAWS, as it's affectionately called, post acute withdrawal symptoms? And it does involve withdrawal symptoms that persist past your detox. They're often related to food and may include irritability, anxiety, depression, sleep problems, and fatigue. And depending on the type of dependency, it can last from 6 months to 2 years. So it's important to know when you need a little bit of support. Two, avoid old routines and habits. It makes sense that if you quit your drug of choice, but continue with the same routine, hanging around with the same people and places, and not making any of those changes in your circumstances, you won't succeed and you'll slip back in previous behavior and habits. Think of raising your teenagers and some of the advice you give them for going back to their old behavior and habits. Some of the immediate changes you will need to make are pretty obvious, like not hanging around those people that you used to or obtain and buy drugs from. After all, even you recognize that you can't hang around your drug dealer or old drinking buddies and expect them to remain sober for very long. You may also consider changing the route to or from work or home in order to triggers, people, places, or things that make you want to use drugs or drink again. Build healthy relationships. Now that you've become sober, you have discovered perhaps some of your past relationships are not only downright, not just your drinking buddies or drug dealers who get you into. Some of those who are closest to you and well can contribute to your relapse. For example, you may have developed a codependent relationship, or a family member, friend, or even your employer may have been enabling you without even knowing it, like getting advances on your salary or hitting up on one of your kids for some spare cash. Research shows that if you maintain these types of toxic relationships, your chances of relapsing are greater. So, to avoid it, remain sober. It's important for you to develop healthy relationships. Get support. Admit it. Sometimes you need a little help from your friend. Even the Beatles in one of their songs admitted it. Try joining a support group. Spend more time with supported loved ones. And plan activities for the entire family can help you develop a healthier lifestyle and avoid situations in which you will normally drink or use drugs. So, for example, skip going to happy hour. Refuse to have that morning champagne with orange juice. Why set yourself up for failure? It doesn't make sense. Seek help from a therapist. They are an expert. Admit you can't handle it. A mental health professional can help you cope with some of the challenges you face on your path. And also, give yourself permission to fail. It's very difficult to come out in clean, squeaky armor every time you slip and fall. But if you look at yourself and say, I blew it, but I'm going to do ABC 1, 2, 3 to make it better. This will be the last next time. And then do it. Follow through. The therapist or your support group can help you learn new coping skills, develop new thinking patterns, and address any co-occurring mental health conditions that may make recovery more difficult for you. You may also face sobriety fatigue, which refers to the overall exhaustion and physical stress of staying sober. It's a lot of work. When people ask me, how long does it take me to write a book? I tell them 3 to 5 hours I spend on one chapter or longer. You have to use your old noodles, not something that instantly gratification here. However, if you need additional help and you can't reach your therapist or your support group is not available, call the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration, initials SAMHSA, National Helpline at 1-800-662-4357 for information on support and treatment facilities in your area. Listen up, folks. Sometimes you need a little bit of help, and you have to give yourself permission to go and seek it. Please go over to our marketing blog and read the rest of the article to find out how you can restructure yourself so you can make it a win-win situation. I'm addicted to work. I work, 18, 19-hour days, 7 days a week. And I don't take very many breaks. Why? Because I like to work. I enjoy what I do. But you know what? Somebody could say, Lillian, you're addicted to working and you need to pull back. So you'll always have plenty of company in whatever addiction you're finding. Thank you very much for listening to today's show. Enjoy the rest of the week and certainly have a tremendous holiday coming up. And remember, even excessive drinking can turn deadly. I'll leave you with another tip. Did you know that if you tip your head back and swallow a whole quart bottle of scotch, or a whiskey. You can drink to death that way. You can suffocate with all that pouring down your throat. Just a thoughtful tip from Passionate World Talk Radio Network. Distinguish yourself from the ordinary. Happy holidays.